Okay guys, so in this video we'll talk about this failure action property which we can find in the validation tab in input node property, right? There are some nodes like MQ input is also there, SOAP input there, STTP is also there, where basically if we want to validate our message, so in validation we provide a value, right, in failure action. So we'll talk about the difference between all these four. So before that, if we want to validate our input message, which is received by my particular message flow, first we'll have to basically create a message set. In that message set, we'll basically create or import a message definition file, right? And which basically defines my input message, and my input message basically should comply in accordance with the message definition that we provided, right? If it is not complying, then validation failure will occur. So this thing I've already done, so I'll just explain the difference between all these four values. So let's get started. See, here first is exception. So see, if if I select this exception, then exception will be thrown only for first validation failure. Okay, so let's see. By a practical example, let's understand it. So let me basically deploy my flow. Now this is my input message. Now in my message definition file, it is defined that this employee ID tag should contain an integer value, and also this can occur multiple times. Okay, so this is defined in my message set. So if this is integer, if these values are integer, then everything is fine. I receive a success. But let me make some string here, right? Now send. See, I received an exception, so let me basically go ahead and see what is the exception. See, it says the value 1254R is not valid value for a int data type, which is correct because this is defined in my message set that this employee ID should be integer. Now 456R, it is also basically not integer, but can we find this thing here? No, can't find, because when you select exception, it gives only the first validation failure, right? So the moment it encounters this is the first validation failure. The moment it encounters this thing, it will throw an exception, and further processing of your message flow will be stopped, right? So this is exception. It will not give you all the validation failure, even though this is also incorrect, but it will give you only the first validation failure, right? Okay, this is one option. Now let me select exception list, deploy it. Now we'll see what happens. Let me copy this. It is giving me 1254R. Okay, 1254R is not correct. Let's see if this is also present. Yes. So it is giving me all the validation failure. See, an exception is thrown for all the validation failures, and after exception is thrown, my processing will be stopped. Okay. So this is exception list. Okay. Now local error log. If you select this, your message flow will not throw any exception, right? If I go ahead and run this, let me run this. Okay, see, there is no exception. It is giving me success. But where I can find the validation failure? I can find the validation failure in event logs. So in Windows, there is a application called event viewer, right? If you open this is already opened for me. Open this, go to Windows logs, go to application. Okay, refresh the logs. 1551, yeah, 1550, yeah. So it is basically here you can see the actual error, right? See the value 456. R is not a valid value again. 1254. R is not a valid value. So here you can see the validation failure in case you have selected local error log, right? So let's read out. It logs all the validation failures to the broker log. Event logs on Windows. The processing of message continues regardless of validation failure. Okay. If you want the processing of your message to be continued, then you can use this option. Similarly, again, if you want basically processing of your message continued, there is another option, user trace. You can use this option also, and you can find out the logs on a particular location. There is a work path location by default. This C program data IBM MQSI common log, right? So this is the work path location where you will find the logs. Now, as user trace, basically you are working with the user trace, then you basically first have to define the trace level. So there is a certain command. In order to save time, I have copied this command, mqsi chain trace integration node name hyphen u means user trace, hyphen e means execution group, hyphen l means the trace level. Here you can also provide normal or debug, right? Normal means it will give you the normal logs, like what is happening with the objects means the nodes out which you have used, right? But if you provide debug, right, debug means it can basically dig out in basically the your compute node, right? It will go inside your compute node, and it will basically try to find out what is happening with your code line by line, and it will give you logs of that particular thing, right? This is we are writing the maximum file size which we want. Okay, so let me go ahead and run this console. We can also report it. MQSI report trace test node hyphen u hyphen e. See, it is giving me my trace level mode safe size is this. Now, as I have selected this option, let me deploy it. Deployed. Let me hit my flow. See, again I'm getting a success. But here I can find the actual logs. I don't know, maybe I have to basically reload the execution group QSI hyphen u hyphen e. Sorry, this is the command for reloading. Taking some time. Yeah, it is reloaded. See, there is a file, right? This is your actual file which contains the details, but uh, you have to basically shut down your trace, turn off your trace level. So here just you have to provide trace level none. Why? Because every time you will hit the flow, the logs will be appended to this file if you don't run this command, right? So it's better to basically turn off your trace level. Now, you can't read this file now. See, in order to make it readable, there is another command. which is called MQSA read logs. But before running this command, you have to go to this location. This location. Okay, so let me go to this location. CD. Oh, CD is already there. CD. Now MQSI read log test node middl. This is my integration node name. -u -e, your execution group name, then -o, your file name. Okay, so give any like error logs dot txt, hit enter. Oh, integration server name is incorrect. Okay, now this error logs txt file you can find here, just open it. See, this file contains the error. 1254 is not the valid value, 456R is not a valid value, right? So this way you can find. But now let me tell you one thing, these three options are not relevant. In 99.9% of the cases you use this option, right? You use this option and capture all the errors. Your exception handler will capture all the errors, and basically your user will basically get to know what is the problem, right? So in 99.9% of the cases we use this option. These three options we don't use much, but it's important to know the difference, because in one of the interviews I was asked about the differences, so I thought it would be better if I can share with you the differences. Okay, so always keep in mind the differences. And this trace thing, basically this itself is a topic, right? There are two types of traces, user trace and service trace, which basically we learn in a different session. So this trace has no significance over here, so don't bother about all these things, right? Don't try to get deep into this. Okay, because I told you in 99.9% of the cases we use this option. Just remember the difference. Okay, so let me repeat once again what did we learn here. You will find, you will get only first validation failure. Here you will get all the validation failure. Here you will get the validation failures in basically in the event logs. You will not find any basic any error. I mean, your message flow will not be generating any error in this case. Similarly, here you can find basically the error in a user trace file. Again, your message flow will not be generating any error in this case. Okay, just try to basically remember this difference, and this is very important. Okay, so that's all from this video, and thanks for watching this video, guys. Stay tuned for my next videos, and please do subscribe if you basically like the way I explain, or basically if you like my videos, please give a feedback. Okay, and if you basically want to share something, if you want to share some interview questions, right, basically which you faced, and you want me to basically explain those, right? So if I have time, then I'll try to basically make a video on those questions also. Okay, so if you have any query, any question, anything, any suggestion, you can drop me an email. Okay, so this is the this is my email, IIB training for you at gmail.com, right? Here you can drop an email to me, right? This email you can also find in the description section. Okay, so thanks again for watching this video. Have a nice day.